So now that we're finally done with the first two lessons of this project, now that you know a little bit about the hardware and the software of the mBlock and what things we're going to be using to interact with it, it's finally time to start coding and uploading programs to the mBot. So first thing we have to talk about what this first program is. It's called Blinking Lights, and it's supposed to be a program that it's easy in the coding part, but it gives you the opportunity to interact with Scratch for the first time. It's really easy. What all you have to do in this program is tell the mBot that it has to turn on one of its LEDs light in red, and then turn the other one. So they are going to be alternating, but they cannot be on at the same time, and this has to happen in a continuous loop. Honestly, there's not much analysis that needs to be done for this project, but we're going to take a look at something called a flowchart, because every time you do software development, you have to do a little bit of thinking before you actually start writing down your program, because it makes it easier. There are more than one thing that we use to make the thinking before we start coding. You could also do pseudocode, which is basically writing your code in English. That means writing what you want your code to do in simple words, not actually using code, because that sometimes having it written down makes things easier. But in this case, if you're following this lesson in the web page, you can see this flowchart, and if not, you can see it on this video. A flowchart, as the name says, it's basically explaining how your program is going to flow. And as you can see, it starts with this block that says start. And there are many other blocks that you can use in a flowchart, such as conditionals and other things. But for now, all you have to worry about is these ones that represent actions that happen in your program. So this program is going to turn the LED lights are alternating in red. But for in this case, all you have to do is see that here it says that the mBot is going to turn off LED number 2, and it's going to turn on LED number 1. Then it's going to wait a second and change. It's going to turn off LED number 1 and then turn on LED number 2. Wait a second, and this arrow is just telling you to repeat, go back to the beginning. And this is a program that just runs in a continuous loop. So you're just gonna keep doing that infinitely until you turn off your robot. So now that we have thought a little bit about that, let's finally take a look at how we're going to code this. So you're going to open your interface, and this is what it's going to show you. But we're gonna go to Arduino mode in the edit, because that makes our job a little easier. It blocks some of the blocks that are not compatible with your mBot. And the first block we're going to take a look at, it's this block right here under the section that says robots. That's because this section right here includes basically all the blocks that you need to interact with your mBot. But this one, it's basically what runs everything. Later on in this project, we're going to take a look at how to make your custom blocks, which are basically functions, but they don't do anything unless you call them in your main program, which is this one. So everything that's underneath this block, it's going to get called, and it's going to run once you upload your program to your mBot. So you're going to put your first block here, and now we're going to take a look at your control blocks. So earlier on, I told you that this program has to run in a continuous loop, and our loops and our conditionals are included under this section that says control. Loops are basically telling your program to do a certain action a certain amount of times, or until a certain condition is met. In this case, it has to run continuously, so it just has to do it infinitely. You're going to use this block that says forever. You're going to drag it, put it here, and everything that you put under this forever block is going to run continuously. So now all you have to do is take your robot here. You're going to uh, take one of these blocks, search for the one that says set LED on board, drag it, and put it right underneath. So right now we don't really need it to turn all the LEDs. Let's choose, for example, left. And as you can see, right on this right side of the block, you have three values that say red, green, and blue. Um, this is a concept that's also applicable to other parts, other types of languages, which is basically called RGB code. Um, in theory of color, it says that every color it's a combination of it can be represented by a combination of these three basic colors. So, for example, if you're trying to get um, different ones, all you have to do is explore here and combine them, and you're going to get different colors. If you're trying to get, for example, brown, all you have to do is go to Google and search for brown RGB, and it's going to give you three values that you have to input if you want to use in other programs. But in this case, all you have to use it's for red. So let's set the other ones to 0, and now set this one to 255, for example. And let's do the other one as well. Set let board on all, but the other one, let right, 2000, which basically means off. Okay, so if you're still thinking about the flowchart that we're using, this is the part that we just completed. So now the next one, it's wait 1 second. And similarly to what we were doing, you're gonna go to your control blocks, and we have this one that says wait. Same thing, drag and paste. All right. Now, another thing that you could do is that you could basically repeat all we just did, drag this one, put it here. However, there's an easier way to do this. You can click here and it says duplicate. If you select, for example, down here, duplicate, it's going to duplicate just this block. So we don't want that right now. What we want is duplicate this block, and this block. So whatever you click, if for example you click here and press duplicate, it's going to duplicate this block and anything that's underneath it. So now you can just select it and drag it here and change these values. So now your LED left should be 0, 0, 0, and the other one, LED right, should do the other side. And at the end also as well, wait 1 second. So now this is all you have, and as you can see, our program, our first program is done. So um, as I told you in the software overview, it says here that it's disconnected to your mBot. I'd recommend you turn on your mBot before you connect it to your computer, but once you have it connected to your computer, all you have to do is go to connect, serial port, and COM12. Now it's connected. Now you can upload programs, and as you can see as well here, it shows a little bit to show you that it's actually connected to your mBot. Now all you have to do is go to upload to Arduino. Okay, this is a very simple program, so I'm not expecting it to take too long. Although if you write longer programs, it might take a little bit to upload. But once this is done, it should say something like upload finish. And once again, never stop thinking about the flowchart that we have here. Always try to follow it because in a way it's like a little guide to show you how you have to write your code if in the future you wish to do your own programs. But for now, let's just wait and see that this project is loading correctly. If you try to see here, it says once it starts showing those signs, it means that it's almost done. But right now it says
Okay,
finish.
and like
Okay,
everything else,
so close.
the last step of actually writing your code, it's testing it. So once you uploaded your program to your mBot, it should look something like this. As you can see, it's alternating between each light, and it looks pretty cool. Um, Honestly, we're going to be using this code later on for other projects. So save it and try to keep it if you want to use it as a guide. But I'll be showing you as well how to use it in other codes. Meanwhile, just take a look at how it looks and make sure that your robot works as well. And look at this, it even looks pretty cool at night. So, okay, I'll see you next lesson.